Welcome, guys, back to episode 3 of our podcast. And, we're just going to be talking about how exactly the enemy or an evil spirit is basically in our environment without even realizing it. We're going to be talking about certain situations that we've kind of seen and from people that we heard from. So,
We're just gonna pretty much talk about how what we watch, what we listen to, just things that we take in can affect you spiritually, even physically, like how you think, how you talk, how you act, whatever. And just our past experiences with that and what we've learned from it. So, like.
yeah. You want me to start or what do you?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. As always, my story is not the longest as her story.
Yeah.
So, basically, I kind of just wanted to talk about, before I got closer to God, I had, I feel like my vision wasn't as clear, not like actually 20/20 vision or whatever. Yeah, I wear glasses, but,
What do you mean by vision?
and I mean, when I say vision, I mean not just like
physical.
Yeah.
You're talking about more
not like this
spiritual
computer or this table. I'm talking more about like actually seeing what's the bigger picture
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
And so, no, when we started dating, I wasn't as close, and I was definitely pretty far away. And so, just like taking those little steps closer to God, I noticed that you kind of you see things differently, not in a bad way. You just, like how I mentioned before, you see the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so this can just be about your environment, it can be your work, your friends, your family, your anything really. And so, I think what the bigger problem is just the whole like social media and everything that it displays, because it's something that we kind of look at our phone for instant gratification.
Yes.
And that's what I've been hearing a lot, and I'm like, that's true, because you go on TikTok, you just keep swiping.
It's
Yeah,
addicting.
and then now every social media app, every app is like TikTok now. Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, just the whole instant gratification thing is kind of just causing that for people to let their minds really just sit there and like just stare at a screen.
Yeah.
And so they don't even know what it's doing. Just sometimes it's a laugh. Oh, sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's this.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you kind of have to step a little bit away from your phone, because I feel like as soon as you're not looking for that instant gratification on your phone, you actually see the bigger picture in life.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so my story was that, basically, when as my vision was getting a little bit better, I noticed just people around me, my own like natural feelings and stuff like that. I noticed that they weren't good and that they needed to be fixed. And I feel like that's the number one way to start things. If you know it needs to be fixed, that's a good indication. You're like, okay, this obviously needs to change.
So do you think what caused those bad things to coincide, like the things that affected the way you perceive things, the way you think and talk and act, do you think it all came from what's on your phone, what's on the computer?
I would say so, yeah, because at a young age we're kind of just thrown at like a screen basically. I know, like when we were younger, obviously we kind of got phones a little later on, and iPhones and all that. But just today, now in age, it's just you can just see it at grocery stores where kids are just being shoved in these iPads or phones
They're
to their
just
face.
glued on the screen.
Yeah, and then now
Yeah.
that's making their brain really just kind of just they're looking for that gratification
Yeah,
from
instant.
a electronic device
Yeah.
instead of really like just enjoying how life
The,
actually
the
is.
present moment
Yeah.
and just being present and yeah. So
Yeah. So as I was getting to, I was just, my whole story is that, yeah, no, as I got closer, yeah, no, I mean, you kind of notice certain friends, you're,
because you started cutting off like even certain music. Like I remember like in the beginning, like when I first like was dating you, like I remember like when we would drive around, like you would play like for example songs like The Weekend or like, like just other like songs that like I don't really listen to because they really like. I mean, these people in Hollywood, these singers, whatever, they do things behind the scenes that are like satanic. Like in their music, they portray things like lust. They portray things like drugs. Just things that really deviate you from the right path. They take your focus away, and they want you to constantly have that like instant gratification, that like feel good, temporary feel good feeling, but it only like it, yeah, picks you up high, but then it drops you down so low because you're just putting in like filth inside of you.
but then now you're craving it more.
And now you're craving it more. So
You finish the song and now it's like, okay, I want another, I want another, I want another.
Yeah. Or like what you watch on the screen. Like I know like a lot of guys, they struggle with this. Even a lot of women too. Like what they watch on the computer, lust. I'm not gonna really say like, because I don't want it to trigger anything, but just very lustful things because it's like, oh, like, you're bored, you're whatever, and like you just watch like these things online that are just like perverted. And so you're perverting your mind, and so you can't even view like another man or like another woman as like a normal human being. You objectify them, you look at them sexually, and it's like you can't even have like a normal conversation with them because of the things that you watch constantly, because you just want that like instant gratification. You want that, feel good feeling for that moment, and then boom, it tears you down, it drags you low. Or the music that you listen to, maybe it influences like anger inside of you. Like let's just say you're having like a just someone make you mad, let's just say, and you listen to songs that just really just get you even more angry. They get you like, pumped. Or like just songs that like influence like the drugs on you, or lust, and it just brings you into a deeper, darker hole. So as I began to like date Dempson more and just show him like the light of God, I didn't lead him because like as a like yeah, women can be leaders, but I want to make sure that he has that personal relationship with God so that he'll be able to lead. Because it's nice when a man who, he gets close with God and he's the one that leads. He's the one that, says, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's have, let's spend time with God. Let's, read together. Let's pray. Let's, whatever. Like, just a very, like, focused man. And so as he was becoming like that, because I was just being myself, I just shined the light of God to him, I noticed that he was no longer listening to those songs. He cut off certain friends that were just, like, they were like a bad influence.
Yeah.
Like, they were just.
And let me stop you there real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
When I mean cut off friends, I don't mean just doing it out of like
hate.
Out of hate, because one thing I've learned from a lot of people is to really not hate others, because when you hate someone, you're really taking that energy from yourself to really hate that person.
Yeah.
So that's why like I slowly try to kind of say like, okay, I dislike that person, because I'm like, okay, I respect whatever they're doing, but I'm not going to let it affect me. I have my own life that I'm going to go down and do whatever. And so yeah, I think when people just say, "Oh, cut off these people," cut off, it's like negative. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's meant to be positive. Like, everything in your life is it's a whole learning experience. Like the
Hmm.
friends I've had, and the friends and family that I have now, it's all a learning experience.
Yes.
It's not meant to be, um, oh, I should have never done that. I shouldn't have done that. We all have those.
Hmm.
Yeah, there are regrets, whatever, but you learn from that. You really learn who you want to be and who you are.
Hmm.
So I mean, I completely respect the people that I don't talk to anymore. You know,
You
I
respect them as a person, but you don't
yeah,
agree with the things that they do, or like,
yeah, but by all means, we all do things that certain other people don't like. That's just
That's
us
true.
humans.
Yeah.
We're not. If we were all uniform, then it wouldn't. Life, I feel like, would be boring. You have to have those differences.
Well, yeah, differences, but like what I'm trying to say is you don't agree with their bad habits.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
as you know, that's another thing that can influence you is your circle, the people you hang around with.
yeah.
Like are they like stagnant? They're just like, just like a flat line,
They
or
they might go up, but then it goes back
yeah,
straight. Yeah,
like are they like sharpening you? Are they sharpening your character? Are they building you up, or are they tearing you down? Are they making you feel insecure? Are they influencing you to do bad things with them? To, like sleep around, to do drugs, to, you know,
to buy certain things the you don't even need, but they're like, oh, this is the next big thing, with blah blah blah,
yeah,
and it's like you really have to, how
set
do you
boundaries.
yeah, and what I noticed too, because I'm still reading in Proverbs. What in Proverbs in the Bible it talks about a wise person basically just if information is being fed to them, whatever, they take it, but they analyze the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we need to do is like, yeah, if information is being thrown at us, we need to really be like, okay, how does that make me feel, and how should I go about this?
Hmm.
Because I feel like people get caught up in saying, oh, this, that, and then it's just rambling at that point.
Yeah.
So
Like it's not good, healthy information.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like really just overall, what I'm trying to get at is just really analyze what people are saying. Don't take it to your heart.
Hmm.
We all have opinions, Like Raquel might have an opinion about something that I don't agree with.
Hmm.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like
I'm
it's
not
okay
gonna.
to,
Yeah,
yeah, agree to disagree.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like even that too. I feel like people they don't want to have those conversations. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
I feel like certain nowadays it's just I don't know, conversations, they lead to arguments.
Yeah, because people, they really put their identity in things that are earthly, and they're just very hypersensitive. And it's like, no, like you have to have an open mind and understand the other person. And I mean, this is like what a wise person should do,
Yeah.
just listen to the other person. Like I like to listen to, like I have friends from different like belief systems, like different religions. I actually enjoy listening to their viewpoints about God. And it just like you learn more about the person, you learn more about other like religions too, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like fully like be a part of that. It's just nice to know. The more you know, the better. The more well-rounded you are,
Mm-hmm.
and the less ignorant you are, because it's not just like you're speaking on your viewpoint only and you don't understand the viewpoints of others. So it's really very important to just be open-minded and humble, and just really just understand where the other person's coming from without getting offended. There's no reason for you to be offended, or
Yeah, because at the
yeah.
end of the day, we all have opinions. It's not.
Yeah.
If someone says it's a fact, be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying take it and run with it, but just do your own research.
Exactly.
Really, if it really bothers you that much, really take the time. Be
Yeah.
like, is this true or is this not? And then, I mean, but then again, we all have opinions, and you know,
Now, can you describe to me, like, going back to the whole, like, listening to music and friend groups and whatever,
Yeah.
tell me the major difference you've experienced since, like, listening to, just, like, very, like, unclean music, hanging out with the wrong crowd, watching things that, whether it could be scary movies or just, like, inappropriate things, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Tell me your experience on you from that time versus you now.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, basically that was basically before I met you, and
Mm-hmm.
so um, yeah, no, starting I was just listening to just about any type of music that was. I didn't even listen to like music. I noticed that,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, sometimes I did, but it was a majority of rap or like some other kind of songs. Like, I remember I used to listen to a lot of Weekend,
Mm-hmm.
um, like Trippy Red, all these artists that, you honestly don't realize what they do behind the music, what
Yeah.
made them get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you guys don't know this, please do your research on this. There's these celebrities or artists that you never even heard of that will sell their soul to become famous.
Mm-hmm.
And you might think I'm like, Dempson, what the heck? That's no way that's true.
It's true. Like The
Yeah.
Weeknd, in many of his performances I've seen online, he had like a group of people wearing like a red robe, and they were doing like this like ritual. Of course, it's witchcraft, and saying these like words, these spells before his concerts each time. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, like you guys are, listening to this guy's music. You guys are opening up spiritual doors for, evil spirits. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. And so basically, knowing that, it's, once I really analyze it, I'm like, okay, this stuff isn't good for me. Yeah, I might listen to some rap songs here and there, like if I work out or something, like, because I just like the tempo of it. I'm not really sure what they might be saying, which is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't listen to really like vulgar music. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I changed that, and
Mm-hmm.
so like now, I mean, hey, don't laugh at me, but I listen to some country music. Some country music out there is
There's
pretty
nothing
good.
wrong with, like, and if people laugh,
No,
like, who
no,
cares? Like,
I know, but a lot of people, they what's it called? I feel like they think of country and they're like, oh no, this and that. It's like, if you really look into it, guys, there's some good music out
yeah,
there.
like, it's, like, very, like, poetic, it's clean, like,
Yeah.
it's just, like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of, like, just good soul music. Like, it's very wholesome when you listen to it. Like, it doesn't, like, give you that, like, instant gratification of,
It doesn't cause chaos.
yeah, like the different emotions like you were describing earlier, like how you were just swiping on TikTok or whatever. Sometimes you cry, sometimes you get like, you're happy, sometimes you get like perverted thoughts, other times you get angry. It's like the other type of music like that, like The Weeknd, or like, I keep saying The Weeknd, but like that's like the main one that like I know. I don't really listen to the other songs out there.
I mean, there's other artists like Lil Nas X, obviously. If you guys don't know that, then I mean, guys, he tried to make a shoe with human blood in it.
Yeah, so it's just all trash.
Yeah, so
Garbage.
basically, as you were kind of going about, like, how I was then, how I am now, yeah, I listened to that type of music. I was surrounded by those people that were playing that type of music, so it felt normal. And I feel like that's the problem. If you're in an environment that if you're in an environment that keeps doing those things, then it's gonna feel normal to do those things. And whatever you do, like you listen, let's just say you listen to country music in that group, they're gonna think it's weird, and it's not right. It's like you have to, like I said, you have to really analyze that friend group or that environment that you're in.
Like how could they be your friends if they make fun of you for like, like choosing the better path, right?
Yeah.
Choosing things that are actually good for you, good for your mind, good for your soul. Like really just analyze your friend group or the people that you're around, and if they make fun of you or say like, oh, like that's weird. Why do you like listen to that type of music? Why do you pray or whatever? Like Like, I remember I was telling, I was at work, and one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, you read the Bible?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Not a lot of people your age, like, would reads the, God's word." And when he said that, I was like, "Wow, like, I never really thought of it like that,
It
like."
was just not necessarily a habit. It's just something that you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I do it not because, like, oh, like, I'm super, like, religious, and I want to, like, get to heaven, or whatever. Of course I want to get to heaven, but like, as I said in the previous episodes, having that relationship with God really changes your viewpoints and everything, and the way you think, the way you talk, the way you act. You just become such a better person. You level up. I mean, when you walk into the room, you change the atmosphere because you bring in the presence of God with you, because the Spirit of God is inside of you. And so that's why, like, them saying, like, let's just say you do now, like, hear those type of music that, or songs that you did before. What happens to you? What experience do you feel?
You kind of just start feeling uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Wow. Do you know why?
Yeah, why?
Because now that you've gotten close to God and you've accepted the Spirit of God inside of you, the Spirit of God inside of you rejects those type of things. Rejects the just like very vulgar songs, or like just things that you watch, scary movies, whatever. It rejects it because you just no longer desire that. When you have that connection with God, automatically you're just like, I don't want to listen to that type of songs. It's like you're eating junk food. Imagine eating junk food every day. What, do you expect to be healthy? No, your health is gonna go down in the dumps.
You're feeding your body or your soul.
Yeah.
Trash, basically.
Yeah, and so that's literally what it is when you hang out with the wrong crowds, when you listen to the wrong, just very bad music, and watch things that are inappropriate, that are scary, that are just they're not good. It's like you're eating junk food.
Yeah, and so backtracking to where I am now, I don't listen to those things. I don't, I did cut off a couple people that, I mean, I completely still have respect for them. I hope, God helps them whatever they need to do. But yeah, really just analyzing the bigger picture is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, yeah, I still have my, how would I say, I guess temptations.
Yeah, like we all go through temptations. Like, we're only human.
And so I feel like people, when they give in to these certain temptations, or they do this or that, they feel after the act, they feel like they're not worthy. And I feel like I've had those thoughts. And so whenever you feel like you're not worthy, remember that, God made you who you are, basically. And so we're not perfect. We're not designed to be perfect. Like we talked about in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
That if we were perfect, we wouldn't need God. There wouldn't be any reason to, because we're perfect. Why do we need that? So that's when it's like being in that constant state of learning.
You're learning, exactly.
And really, like, how would I say, be able to unlearn certain things that were bad and learn things that are good, actually, and that will actually benefit you. And so, that's, I feel like it's kind of just, it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy to go down the path that God has for you. It's
a narrow path.
Yeah. It's not very wide. It's, you really have to watch. You really have to watch every step that you take.
Yeah.
Because one wrong step and you go off the path and you might get lost. So that's why it's just really remaining on that path that God has created for you is the ideal goal.
Exactly. And like sometimes, like you just mentioned, like, yeah, we go through temptations. We go through things like, maybe like a curse word slips out, or like, we accidentally just like give into temptation or whatever. You're taking that wrong step, right? But the difference is when you have that connection with God, you understand the Word of God. Maybe not fully, but you got to the point where you got your feet wet in the water, is what I'm saying, when it comes to the presence of God. Like, Oh my god, I literally lost my train of thought.
So, yeah, no, you kind of just really feeding your mind these certain things really doesn't help, because you kind of just you're in, yeah, you might be in a constant state of learning, but if you're, like I said, if you're in the wrong environment, then it's not going to be beneficial for you, and it's, yeah, I mean, overall.
Oh my gosh, I literally lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry, guys. I had a good point that I wanted to make too, and it just like it left me.
Was it what we talked about?
It left me. But anyways, going. Are you done telling your testimony?
Yeah, no, you could tell yours.
Yeah. So with me, like I've noticed, like when I listen to like, there's actually like some songs that are like really good, but they incorporate like lust. I noticed that I started having lustful thoughts, and I'm like, okay, like no, like this happened to me like way before, and I had to stop listening to those songs because they really triggered lustful thoughts. Or just like songs that like had like curse words in them. Like I felt myself saying, or I felt like the Spirit of God saying inside of me, stop. Like, don't listen to this song, Or like when the curse word would come up, I put the volume down and then I'd like go back up, But they're like old, like, like good songs. But anyways, like I had to stop because it began to trigger, just things that were not okay and deviate my path, deviate me from the right path. Or like when I was younger, I remember like, like scary movies, I would like take a peek at them, like I would get scared, but I would just kind of look at them but not watch the full thing. I noticed I get nightmares, and what happens is when you watch scary movies, you're opening up spiritual doors for evil spirits to come in and to, basically torment you. You begin to think, oh, someone's watching me, or you look behind yourself and it's like, well, yeah, because you now welcomed in that evil spirit, and you begin to think, oh, it's there, or you start having nightmares. So cut off like scary movies. Like I know Halloween is coming up, and like everyone's just like, in that mood to watch.
Season,
yeah,
to watch this, watch that.
Yes. So I know it's tempting, like you want to watch, but don't. Like it's not worth it, and like I said, you're just polluting your mind. You're giving access for the enemy to come in and to put fear in you and to give you nightmares and to torment you maybe for like the longest time. So
but it's just entertaining you.
It's entertaining you in the wrong way once again. Yeah. And I stopped, like whenever like a commercial would come up, or like about a scary movie, I just turn it off. Like I don't want to watch it, I don't want to entertain that, I don't want to open up the door for like any evil spirit, because then it's going to come in and make its home inside of me, inside of my temple. I don't want that. My temple, my body is for God only. He's the one that created it, and he's the one that has made his home inside my mind, inside my heart, inside my temple. So but yeah, so I had to cut off those things, and I pretty much like when it comes to watching things, I don't watch any TV. Like I know that sounds boring, but I just feel like it's a waste of time, watching like movies, TV shows. Like I like to stay active, I like to stay like proactive, reading God's word, going to work, spending time with family, spending time with the people that uplift you, encourage you, just good people, having wholesome conversations. That's where it's at. Not just sitting, in front of the screen and just wasting your life. You're taking in that junk. And like when it comes to like the songs I listen to, I really, really love just like old R&B music. Like there's actually really good like clean R&B music. It has really good beats, and it's like good soul music. And like of course like I listen to like some like gospel songs, like that talk about or that sing about God.
I mean, hey, you listen to African music.
Oh my goodness, yeah, African music. I completely forgot. I love African music. Like, it's not like there's probably like some, like very few that like, you know, is like a little bit
Yeah.
perverted, you know, but it's not like very like vulgar. But like those ones like I don't really like listen to, I don't care for. But there's generally like good African songs, like if they have good beats, like, you know, but that's just me. Like I love that type of music, so it's like the good
It's meant to
feeling.
uplift you.
Yeah, like uplift you, you know? Um but yeah, so just like be very careful with like every step you take, the people you hang around with, the music you listen to, what you watch, and just reanalyze everything and say, hey, like, is this helping me? Is this helping me to become a better person? Is this drawing me closer to God? You know, or is it just tearing me down? You know, is it just influencing me to do the wrong things, therefore destroying my own soul? So
Yeah, just getting back to everything that we talked about, you know, as we were discussing about, we kind of just, you kind of have to realize things that, like, if they're entertaining you, like, really analyze how is it entertaining you? Is it making you feel some type of way? Is it, you know, what does it make you think? You know, how, because the the whole world basically, it's all about getting entertained, that instant gratification, or watching something that might have a good storyline but it's not actually healthy for the mind, you know,
mm-hmm.
like yeah, no, just shows, movies, just about anything. And so we
Mm-hmm.
kind of get caught up in areas where, like, where people are like, oh, did you watch the new season of this, or watch the new movie of this?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I chose not to. And then they're like, oh, why not? Why didn't? It's like, I just chose not to.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And so if that's like another situation too, is like when you start noticing someone being really pushy about a certain topic, really just take that step back and, you know, be like, okay, if this conversation isn't leading
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, I will take my information elsewhere because
Yes.
it won't be needed anymore.
Yeah, like they should respect the fact that like you stopped watching certain things, stopped listening to like certain music,
Yeah.
and stopped hanging out with certain friends. You know, they should respect that instead of being like, oh, why not have you, you know, watched this or, you know, done that. They make it seem like, oh yeah, everyone is pretty much like doing it, but you want to be the one that stands out. You don't want to follow the crowd. You want to make sure that before you leave this earth, because it's not forever, that you really leave an impact, a positive impact, like that, like you're just a light in people's lives. Like how rewarding is that?
Yeah.
You know, and like I know it seems hard to cut off, you know, um like certain music, certain TV shows, movies, you know, that are bad for you, but when you master that self-discipline, the self-control, and cutting off things that are unhealthy for you, that's when you begin to grow, you level up, and you just shine different. And it's like, for example, cutting off junk food. Let's just say you want to go on a diet, you want to have a nice body, you just want to be healthy generally. Well, you got to make healthy options. You got to exercise, you got to eat your fruits and vegetables, you got to have your protein. It's the same thing. You can't be eating junk food every day. You're destroying yourself. So that's pretty much it. Like,
Yeah.
be careful, stay on the right path. And it's okay if you fall. We all fall down, but get back up again.
Yeah. I mean, another quote that, you know, I like is, yeah, you might fall 7 times but get back up 8. And so
Mm-hmm.
we fall a lot. Yeah, it's normal. It's um
Like
yeah, we're not.
you're only considered like a failure if you fall and you stay down.
Yeah.
And you're only walking the wrong path if you know, make that step and you continue taking more steps. That's when it just like it all just goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
But when you take like for example a few steps on the wrong path or you fall down, get back up again, you know, and you like snap out of it and say, wait, I'm going down the wrong path. Let me go back to the right path.
Yeah.
You know, the path of light, the path that leads me to becoming a better person in God. So
Yeah. I think that's
pretty much it.
yeah, just at the end, you know, really focus on what's what's around you, try to find the bigger picture in certain areas of your life.
Yes.
Remember, we're not perfect,
Yeah.
and we're not made to be perfect, and so, I kind of wanted to also end off on a question. We probably talked about this question, is does sin cause sin, or does curiosity cause sin? And I'll let you guys think about it. If you feel free, if you want to message us on the podcast page or to me, whatever. So I'd be happy to hear from you guys. So,
but thank you guys so much for listening, and we really hope you enjoyed this message. Ask us any questions, or if you have any comments, let us know. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.